You've probably seen the headlines. Trump is going after the Fed, attacking Jerome Powell, calling for lower interest rates. But the real story isn't just about politics. It's about something much, much bigger and much more dangerous. The Federal Reserve was never meant to serve you. It was created by the elite for the elite to control money, control policy, and ultimately control you. As Rockefeller himself said, "Give me control over a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes the laws." The game was rigged from the start. But the good news is this: you don't have to play their game anymore. So let's dive into the new game of money and how you can start winning no matter what Jerome Powell and Donald Trump end up doing with interest rates. Now, first off, my name is Ryan Dealey. I'm the founder of Wealth Outside of Wall Street. And if you're tired of being manipulated by inflation, crushed by taxes, and trapped by a broken system, then my friends, you're in the right place. This channel is about real strategies to take back control over your money, to build unstoppable passive income, and to finally live life on your own terms. So if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and let's rise up together. The biggest lie that that all of us have been told either directly or indirectly inside of our economy is that the Federal Reserve is independent. I want you to take a look at this clip from Jerome Powell, and let's talk a little bit about what the Federal Reserve actually is and why it's controlling everything, not just in our economy, but in the global economy as well.
So our independence is a matter of law. Congress has, in our statute, we're not removable except for cause. We serve very long terms. Fed independence is very widely understood and supported in Washington, in Congress, where it really matters. And the point is, we can make our decisions, and we will only make our decisions based on our best thinking, based on our best analysis of the data about what is the way to achieve our dual mandate goals as we can to best serve the American people. That's the only thing we're ever going to do. We're never going to be influenced by any political pressure. People can say whatever they want. That's fine. That's not a problem. But we will do what we do strictly without consideration of political or any other extraneous fact.
The Federal Reserve is not independent. It's not, and it never was. The Federal Reserve was created in 1913 at a secret meeting on Jekyll Island. Yeah, it's a real place, and it couldn't have been more sinister when it was created in a more sinister of places. Now, this is where the most powerful bankers and the politicians of the day, they all came together to create a system that would control the money supply and not actually protect the people. It was designed to make the rich richer and to make the poor more dependent. There's a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. Now, if you decide to read this book, I'm going to give you a warning label right here. This will change your view of money, of politics, and of our global economy for the rest of your life. You'll never be able to see the world of money again because you'll see the deceit, the manipulation, and ultimately the lies that are told through the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve isn't federal, and it has no real reserves. It's a private banking cartel with the legal power to manipulate money, create inflation, and silently tax you without your consent. Remember Rockefeller's words when he said, "Give me control over a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes the laws." This is what the Federal Reserve is all about. It doesn't care who's in the Oval Office. The money controls the game. If you control the money, you control the country. And the Federal Reserve is proof. For the last 100 years, the Federal Reserve has been wreaking havoc on our monetary system, accelerated even more acutely in 1971 when we were taken off of the gold standard. What this gave Congress and the president the ability to do is to print money, to manufacture money out of thin air and not tie it to any real standard of measurement like gold. But again, remember, the Federal Reserve is a part of the government. You don't get to elect the official there. You don't control policy, and it's not here to serve you. Let's talk a little bit about why having control over the money gives the elite so much control over you and I. When you control both the supply and the price of money, you control literally everything. The economy, elections, markets, individuals. The money controls the entire game. You control how much money is in circulation, and you control how much that money costs via interest rates. It's all under one roof, giving total control to an economic power that has nothing to do with elections. The Fed sets interest rates, the price of money itself. They decide how much currency floods the system, and they choose winners or losers without ever asking for your vote. And every dollar they print, every time they cut rates, every stimulus they announce, they aren't doing this to help you. They're stealing your time, they're stealing your labor, and most horrifically, they are stealing your future purchasing power. Inflation is not an accident, and it's not a natural part of the economy. Inflation is the direct result of printing money. It's a hidden tax that keeps you running faster just to stay in place. If the Fed were truly independent, we wouldn't be here today watching savings collapse and debt explode. Now, the real solution to all of this is ending the Fed, dismantling and dismembering the entire apparatus that is controlling the global economy and putting so much pressure on Americans today. There have been books written on this concept. There have been politicians that have ran under this concept, but they were never elected. Think back to Ron Paul. But today, very few people even talk about the Fed, let alone ending the Fed. Now, some people who are on the edge of talking about what the Fed is, they argue that we should bring the Fed under direct government control. But I want you to consider this. That would be even worse. Concentrating monetary power into the hands of politicians would just turn money into an even more weaponized political tool. You would be incentivized to print money for votes, to crash the currency to win elections, to inflate your retirement away. The truth is really pretty simple. Centralized money is always corrupted money. The real solution isn't better managers or a better elected politicians. It's ending the manipulation. It's ending the Fed altogether and moving back to a system where the free market, not bureaucrats, determine money's value. Before 1913, America really had no centralized bank, and despite some local banking panics, there was really no system-wide collapse like the Great Depression. The Fed didn't prevent crisis, it scaled local problems into a national disaster. That's what caused the Great Depression. Money has to be decentralized like everything else that serves real human freedom. But I want you to consider this. The solution for you on the individual level, you don't have to wait for some politician to come in and end the Fed and do things ethically and appropriately with money. You can actually take control of your banking right now. You can opt out of a broken system, their broken system, and set up your own, and here's how. In the game of Monopoly, there's a simple but dangerous rule. The bank never goes broke. I mean, if the bank runs out of money, players must use slips of paper to keep the game going and give IOUs back to the bank. Now, does this sound familiar? That's exactly the rule America's economy has been playing by since the Federal Reserve was created. When the Fed runs out of real money, they simply create more fake money, debt for money. And every time they print, they quietly steal value from your savings, from your retirement, and they steal your future away one printed dollar at a time. That's the real reason why you can't win playing by their rules. But you don't have to keep playing their game anymore. You can literally become your own bank today. Now listen, most people don't know about this, but there was a book written called Become Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. And he talked about a revolutionary concept where you could overfund a whole life insurance policy. Now, I know that sounds crazy. A whole life insurance policy could literally be set up to be used as a banking-like feature. When you overfund a life insurance policy, meaning you buy as little death benefit as required and you put in as maximum cash value or premium as you possibly can, you have all of this extra capital floating around inside of an insurance policy. Now, why would you want your money sitting and floating inside of an insurance policy? Well, the ultimate reason is this. An insurance company who stands behind these contracts literally guarantee that your money inside of the contract will grow and compound. You'll never lose a dollar. Your money's not tied or associated to the market whatsoever. And because we're using life insurance, all of the growth and all of the access of your capital, it's all done tax-free. But here's how you become your own bank. You get an opportunity to enter a very specific partnership with the insurance company. The insurance company allows you to use your cash value, however big or small it is, as an open private line of credit. Think about this. Every time you put money into an actual bank, you take $1 or $100 or $1,000 and you put it in a bank, the bank doesn't just write your name on a Post-it note and stick your money in the vault and wait for you to come back. No, the bank turns around and as fast as you give them money, they lend out as much of that money as they possibly can. They're using your money to generate their profits. Now, when we come back to the life insurance contract, whatever sum of cash value you have in your policy, the insurance company will allow you to leverage the value of that cash by leveraging their money. In fact, insurance companies have to keep millions, if not billions of dollars of cash in a relatively liquid state. They allow you to borrow via an open line of credit their money up to whatever amount of cash you put into the policy, and they use your death benefit as collateral. Now, while on the surface that might not sound like a revolutionary concept, this gives you the ability to make every dollar that you put into your contract do two separate jobs at the same time. Job number one, it grows and compounds inside of your life insurance contract. Job number two, you get the opportunity to leverage the value of your policy to accomplish whatever your short-term goals are. Think about this. How often do you go on a vacation? Are you going to put your kids through college? How about, are you going to buy rental real estate? Are you going to do anything with your money to accomplish a short-term goal? All of us have short-term goals, and if you can use your money via the line of credit from the insurance company to accomplish your short-term goals and not break the compounding value of your life insurance policy, you win. You get to act and operate just like a bank who uses our money to generate their profits. You get to use the insurance company's money to accomplish a short-term goal while your money stays safely compounding inside of your insurance policy. And whenever you're ready to flip the script and start taking income from your insurance policy, because it was done in insurance, all of it, every dollar comes back out to you tax-free. Now, my friends, I want you to consider this. One of these contracts we call the vault. This becomes your personal bank, one that you own, you control, and you benefit from. No inflation theft, no Wall Street games, no begging for loans. While everyone else is struggling inside of a collapsing monopoly economy, you'll be sitting at the real table writing your very own rules. This is what the vault financial strategy allows you to accomplish. The rich and the wealthy and the famous and the politicians and anyone who understands the game of money, they're using this strategy in some form or fashion to accomplish long-term goals of keeping their money safe, private, and protected and compounding, and short-term goals of leveraging insurance company money to accomplish whatever short-term goal they have. Look, the Federal Reserve's game was never designed for you to win. They manipulate interest rates. They devalue everything you've worked so hard for while stacking the deck in their favor. But now you know the truth. You don't have to save harder, work longer, or gamble on Wall Street. You can literally build your own bank. You can create your own system, one that grows tax-free, gives you private access to capital, and protects your wealth from inflation and all forms of political games. These are private contracts. So if you're ready to rise up and live free, if you're ready to take control over your money, now is the time. My friends, don't be manipulated anymore. It's time to take control over your money and use the economic financial system, the banking model, to your advantage. So my friends, until the next video, until the next time I go live, I want you to continue to rise up and live free. I'll see you on the next video.
Fearless.